Welcome everyone to Greek Family Zoom Season 2. My name is Ephraim Katsir, Director of Sephardic Heritage International in DC, or SHIN-DC. On behalf of SHIN-DC, I would like to thank our partners on today's Greek Family Zoom program, the Jewish Community of Athens and the Embassy of Greece in Washington. I would also like to thank His Excellency Yossi Amrani, Ambassador of Israel to Greece, Her Excellency Alexandra Papadopoulou, Ambassador of Greece to the United States, Chief Rabbi of Athens, Gabriel Negrin, Dr. Andrew J. Lovinger from the National Science Foundation, and our speakers, Delia Alchanati, Secretary General of the Jewish Community of Athens, and Joanna Nahmias, Jewish Community of Athens board member. Today's Greek Family Zoom is co-sponsored by Rose and Rob Capon. Our Greek Family Zoom moderator, Rachel Velelli Glaser, gave our three-part Jews of Greece lecture series in partnership with the embassies of Greece and Israel to the United States. Greek Family Zoom is an ongoing project based on your feedback from that series and is aimed at giving the Greek Jewish community around the world an opportunity to continue those conversations that we began a year ago. So thanks to all of you. And on that note, I now turn the program over to Rachel Velelli Glaser.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Ephraim. And thank you for all of you who are attending today. We are thrilled with the continuation of our Greek Family Zoom into a second year. I think last year really was a difficult one for all of us. And one of the things we Greek Jews in America started to do is look back to our roots. And therefore, Greek Family Zoom grew out of a lecture that I had given. We're very excited also about our new collaboration with the Jewish Community of Athens. And thank you, Jewish Community of Athens, very much for putting this program together. Special thanks to our distinguished guests from whom you will hear, and also personally, special thanks to Joseph David for speaking to me so many times and emailing and making this possible. And now it is my distinct honor to introduce our special guests. Welcome to His Excellency, Mr. Yossi Amrani, the Ambassador of Israel to Greece. Mr. Amrani.
Good evening to all my Greek friends, and of course, good afternoon to all participants from the United States. It is a great honor to participate in this program, one which is about bonding and connecting, one which is about our mutual responsibility. And I'm very proud with my own heritage, going back to Sephardic culture and civilization, to be part in this initiative. We live here in Greece with one of the remnants of the most ancient Jewish communities in the world, community which goes back 2,000 years, the Romaniotis, and facing the challenges of modern life, facing the challenges of people moving from one land to another, of course to Israel, but to the rest of Europe and other places. And the question ahead of us is how we maintain identity and how we maintain the continuity of Jewish life. And diaspora is part of Jewish life. I see myself as a Zionist, but being a Zionist does not mean that I deny the existence of diaspora or not accepting the importance of diaspora for Jewish life. And diaspora is important, and the Greek Jewish diaspora is very important, going back for so many years. I'd like to share with you a certain experience I had Yom Kippur a year ago in Yanina. In Yanina, a center of Jewish life, a place where Jews lived for almost 2,000 years, facing the tragedy of the Holocaust, facing the challenges of modern life, people moving from one place to the other, whoever can move to Athens, others live in other countries. The challenge is how you maintain the culture, the tradition, the history of Jewish life. And over there, over the high holidays, you can see people gathering from 70 corners of the world, if I quote Jewish resources, people coming from as far as the United States, people coming from Israel, they all have their roots, they all have their Yanina identity, and they come to cherish and commemorate. And this is something we need to encourage. We cannot define our identity by one place anymore or by one culture. We are enjoy a certain multifaceted identity going through different continents, different languages, and by being open, by giving the opportunity, we may strengthen Jewish community. The challenge ahead of us is to continue Jewish life in places where the chances are very slim to continue Jewish life. And there is no other way but through mutual responsibility, through what we call in Hebrew, achrayut adadit, and by sharing and educating about the beauty of Jewish history. Yanina is one example. There are many other examples in this country, whether it's the island of Kos, where they are trying now to renovate the old synagogue, whether it's Corfu or Rhodos or any other place, how we maintain the continuity of Jewish life when we don't really have Jews living there anymore. The rabbi may tell you about the experience of Etz Chaim synagogue in Chania, Crete. Over there, we see yet another example how you keep tradition and heritage, not necessarily by Jews. It's better to have it with Jews. It's better to have it with people coming and visiting. But we need to find a way to not only renovate synagogues and not only renovate cemeteries, but maintain some level of Jewish life as a model for others. We are not there, we cannot be there anymore. Unfortunately, the Holocaust destroyed too many Jewish communities, but through education, through culture, through worship, through synagogues, we can keep this tradition. So I'm here on this very important gathering to share with you a feeling that we need as Jews to reach beyond our own communities, beyond our own cities, beyond our own countries, and look back at our own roots and develop this commitment and responsibility to the Jewish history in places where it's very difficult to maintain it. So I wish you much success in this discussion today, and enjoy the rest of the day, of course.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. And now we will have remarks by Her Excellency, Ms. Alexandra Papadopoulou, the Ambassador of Greece to the United States.
Good evening and greetings to everyone. Greetings from a sunny, almost spring-like Washington, D.C. First of all, please allow me to send my warmest greetings to my dear, dear friend and colleague, His Excellency, the Ambassador of Israel to Greece, Yossi Amrani, a very, very dear friend with whom we share a lot of common interests and long, long discussions about values, our shared values, about international politics, about what life means, and how we both love our region and our respected countries. It's an honor and a pleasure for me to collaborate with Sephardic Heritage International and you, and to connect with the Jewish Community of Athens, including Chief Rabbi Gabriel Negrin. Whether a Greek in Greece or a member of the diaspora, literally spread all over the world, our culture and our history are our real home. They provide us with a foundation upon which to build our lives and communities, and this is what Greek Family Zoom is all about. Congratulations on beginning a second season of Greek Family Zoom. Today, we recognize the efforts and innovative ways that the Jewish community in Athens is using in order to work, to promote their work and enhance their work to keep their community vibrant. Keep their community and turn it into a real warm nest for its members, and also the ground space on which to build a younger generation, which is the school. This commitment of the Jewish Community of Athens to their Jewish heritage and our collective commitment to the Greek heritage we all share on so many levels brings us together today, including the accomplished Dr. Andrew Lovinger of the National Science Foundation, who is very dedicated to his Greek and Jewish heritage. Culture includes a set of values, beliefs, aspirations, social practices, and traditions that are shared by a people. This body of knowledge continues to be transmitted to succeeding generations, transcending boundaries and borders, making us who we are and who we aspire to be. That continuation is very much at the heart of the work that the Jewish Community of Athens and Rabbi Negrin are engaged in today, and we look forward to hearing from JCA Secretary General Delia Alchanati and JCA Board Member Joanna Nahmias. Congratulations on today's Greek Family Zoom meeting, which brings us together from the United States and Greece and around the world. And congratulations to the Jewish Community of Athens on their so many accomplishments. Have great success. Thank you.
We now welcome Dr. Andrew Lovinger. Dr. Lovinger was born in Athens in 1948 and raised there. He is the only child of Joseph Lovinger, who served as president of the Central Board of Jewish Communities in Greece from 1967 to 1991. He studied in New York and earned a doctorate in chemical engineering from Columbia University. Following that, he was a researcher at Bell Laboratories in New Jersey. Following that, he has been the head of the Polymer Research Department. He has been in the DC area and director of the Polymers Program for the National Science Foundation. He has been included in the National Academy of Engineering and has received the top awards in the polymer research from the American Chemical Society and the American Physical Society. He lives in Arlington and is a member of Congregation Eitz Chaim, where he has served for many years on its board of directors and religious committee. Dr. Lovinger.
Thank you very much, Rachel. It is truly a great pleasure to be joining you and SHIN-DC for one of your excellent programs. I've watched most of them last year, and they were truly excellent. I would also like to express my gratitude to Her Excellency, the Ambassador of Greece, for her kind words. Indeed, I will be bringing you some memories from Greece, where I grew up, and also from the many years afterwards. My father was president of the umbrella organization of all Greek communities, Central Board of Jewish Communities in Greece. I must at the very beginning offer a disclaimer as an official of the US government. Of course, all the views I will express are only my own and not those of the National Science Foundation or the US government. So I was born in Athens in 1948, in fact, on the very day that Israel itself was born. I was raised in Athens, and the times were extremely difficult. It was, of course, a time when everybody had lost members of their families. Everybody was living in poverty. The community was totally decimated. All that existed was the synagogue building and the offices of the community across the street. In fact, I do have a picture of the synagogue as it existed at that time. And here it is. As you see, the interior was just covered in beautiful, gleaming white Attica marble in a neoclassical Greek style. That no longer exists. The interior has been updated and modernized in the late 1970s. The first years really were a challenge because there was no Jewish school. Through the kind help of the American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee, a tiny kindergarten was built right within the offices of the Athens Jewish community, a little clinic, and later on, we had the benefit of a summer camp in a beautiful pine forest. But beyond that, there was no school, no education, so it was all family-based. I was fortunate that my father had been observant. We used to go to the synagogue every Shabbat. So I got a very good Jewish education from him, but also I had the benefit to be taught by the legendary Rabbi Elias Barzilai. Rabbi Barzilai was legendary because he's the one who stood up to the Nazis during the Second World War when he was ordered to provide the list of all Athenian Jews. He instead escaped to the mountains, joined the partisans, but first he notified the Greek Jews to run and hide, and also visited the heroic Archbishop of Athens and all Greece, Damaskinos, and solicited his help. And both the Archbishop and the Greek police were absolutely heroic and self-sacrificing in helping the Jews during the war. I would not have been able to be born after the war if righteous Greek Christian families had not sheltered my mother and father, and if the Greek police had not offered them an identity card that listed their names as Greek Orthodox. And I will show you that identity card for my mother, which is here. You see her name is shown as Eleni Nikolaidou, and at the bottom shows Christiani Orthodoxos, meaning Orthodox Christian. As the years passed, the Athens community grew, and I would say was very successful in bringing people together, in providing new institutions. You will hear all about that from the rabbi and the speakers. One great advantage that a community has had over the decades was stable and committed, dedicated, and effective leadership. I know that my father worked very closely, almost on a daily basis, in the 1980s with the president of the Athens Jewish Community at that time, Mr. Daniel Alchanati, who in fact is the father of Mrs. Alchanati, our speaker today. One thing that I've noticed in the last few years is the great creativity, inventiveness, and ideas that the new leadership of the Athens community has brought forward, taking advantage also of the benefits of the web and social media. They have instituted all kinds of very effective programs that cover everything from religious to cultural to educational to social to spiritual and charitable aspects. They have worked closely with the Greek state. Many programs have been jointly with our Christian brothers and sisters, and generally the community has been vibrant and effective. So I'm sure we're going to hear lots of interesting things about its history and its current state. I would like to conclude by offering my congratulations to the Athens Jewish community and wishing them Mazal Tov, good fortune, and Chazak Ubaruch, so strength and blessings. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your message. We're so honored to have with us Rabbi Gabriel Negrin, the Chief Rabbi of Athens. Born in 1988, Rabbi Negrin grew up in Athens, Greece, as a part of the Jewish community in which he serves today. He attended the local Athens Jewish Community School and was mentored and taught by the late Rabbi of Athens, Rabbi Yaakov Arar, during his teenage years. After his academic studies in electroacoustic music composition, sound design, and engineering, Rabbi Negrin moved to Jerusalem to complete his yeshiva education at the Shehebar Sephardic Center, from where he obtained a Rav Umanhig certificate and also received his rabbinic ordination. Rabbi Negrin is also a certified circumciser, a moel, and an authorized slaughterer, a shochet, and trained in both those fields. Rabbi Negrin was appointed as the Rabbi of Athens and was installed in 2015. Since then, he has been serving his community regarding all religious duties and clergy aspects of Jewish life, and he's also responsible for the religious representation in the general society. With his unique passion for the Greek Jewish community, Rabbi Negrin hopes to revive old Jewish practices and to pass them on to the next generation of Jews in Greece. Rabbi Negrin?
Shalom, shalom. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for having us. Since His Excellency, the Ambassador of Israel, talked about Yanena, I would like to start with a very interesting, not memory, but information that is like a memory. Since today, two hearts of Greek Judaism are collaborating. You, the American Greek Jews, and us here, the Greek Jews of Athens. But that collaboration is not something new, since they used to do it back then as well. So there is a famous letter that was sent immediately after the war from the Jewish community of Joanna. The author of the letter was Yossi Matzas, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, one of the maskilim of the community. And the community asked him to write a letter to the Jewish community, to the Yanena Jewish community in New York, Keila Kedosha Yanena, asking for help. You know, as Mr. Lovinger said, the communities after the war, they were in a very bad shape, not only because we lost we lost this 87% of our Jewish population, but also because of the general situation in Greece after the war. It was very difficult in several parts of the society. So, you know, the Jewish community wanted to ask for material help. So Mr. Matzas writes a letter. In the letter is written that before the war, we used to receive from you questions. We were the mother and you were our child. You used to ask us and you used to take advice of us, and you used to ask our rabbis for halachic Romaniot questions. But today, we are the ones that have to ask, because now you are the one that you have your grandparents. You are the ones that you still have the tradition alive. We lost it. So we need your help. Give us help because we have questions. Of course, the Jewish community wasn't very happy with the letter, but the letter shows that this beautiful cooperation is not only vital for our existence, but it also creates a bond that is there to give us life and promote our heritage through all the other Jewish traditions. So after all this being said, I would like to take you for a walk a little bit through the history of the Jews of Athens, which is very interesting. I'm going to do it very, very quickly. And is a history that is not so well known. We have several books for Yanena. We have a lot of books from Thessaloniki, but the Jewish community of Athens, most of the times, doesn't really have any, let's say, bibliography to refer to. There is one book talking about the times of the war. I can see Mr. Lovinger doing like that, but except that, there is no other information about the Jewish community. The Jewish presence in Greece, it goes back, according to archaeological evidence, at least through the late 4th century before Common Era, where we have there a plague that shows the liberation of a Jew. Now, the first archaeological evidence that we have in Athens is a couple of centuries after that, although Athens is mentioned a lot of times in the Jewish authors of the time. They mention Athens a lot, even though Athens wasn't the most important Jewish place to be. Though we have a plague with a menorah and Arbata Minim, a lulav, is that famous plague that everybody knows from Athens. Unfortunately, I cannot show you that now. And this is already the second era, before Common Era, of course, we are talking. Now, Athens is becoming a small village through the Byzantine Empire. I passed through the Hellenistic period, and then I went to the Byzantine period, Roman period, I'm sorry, where we have a synagogue, and then we have the plague, and then we go to the Byzantine period, where Athens is becoming a small village. Till today, we knew that we had no Jewish presence in Athens, but that's not exact, since we have new evidence that shows that we had a couple of families during the 14th century and a couple of families during the 16th century. So we had a small Jewish presence in Athens during all those periods, and then we jump to the Ottoman period after the Franks, that they also had part of the ruling of Athens. And in the Ottoman period, we have a regulation by the Sultan that forbids to the Jews to live in Athens. Now, when you hear such an information, you understand that probably the Sultan was an anti-Semite. But if you read closely the regulation, it was written that it's not honorable enough for the Jews to live in Athens. Now, why the Sultan had to speak about it? Because the Sephardic Jews were coming. So he had to place them somewhere. Now, Athens is becoming an important city for the Jews after the liberation, after the Independence War, and the new capital city of the new state is already Athens. This is where Athens start having a small but strong Jewish community. The Jewish community of Athens was established in 1890, and it was actually the first Jewish community to be recognized by the Greek state, but as a Jewish brotherhood. The first Jews, though, that established the Jewish community were not Sephardic and not Romanian, but they were Ashkenazi Jews. Now, wait, we have Mr. Lovinger with us, and his father was an Ashkenazi Jew from Hungary as well. But that wasn't the case. The Lovinger family came later. I can see Mr. Lovinger agreeing. The Lovinger family came later. Those Ashkenazi Jews, they came with the first king of Greece, King Otto. They were accompanying the king, and of course they were the first to establish a Jewish community, which was a very tiny one. Now, who were the Jews of that city? Most of them, they were the Jews that came with King Otto, not only Ashkenazi Jews, okay? One of his advisors, it was Lord Saporta, okay? I don't know, Saporta is a Sephardic name. Of course, one of his advisors was Max de Rothschild as well, which is an Ashkenazi name. So these were the first Jews, along with some Jews of the Piraeus city. At the time was a totally different city, and some Jews that came from the non-liberated Greece at the time. So these were the first Jews to create the Jewish community of Athens. And of course, the majority of them, they were the Romanian Jews, That's why after Max and Karl de Rothschild, the first presidents, the first president was Avraham Konstantinis. We have two Konstantini families in Athens, the one from Crete and the other one from Corfu and the Ionian Islands. So don't be confused. So that Avraham Konstantinis of the Ionian, of the Cretan origin, was the first president, and one of our last president, also Elkanah Konstantinis and Moises Konstantinis, were the Ionian part, from the Ionian origin of the family. So the Jewish community is being established as the first Jewish community to be recognized, but it wasn't the biggest community at the time. After the liberation of the Ionian, after the Ionian island became part of Greece, wasn't the liberation, then became part of Greece, the chief rabbinate went up there, up to Corfu, because that was the biggest community. And of course, in 1912, the Thessaloniki community was the biggest one, and the chief rabbinate was moved there. Now, why I'm talking about the chief rabbinate all the time? Because all the laws that we have till 1942 are laws that they were passed from the Greek state through the leadership of the chief rabbis of the time, with the most important to be the legislation of 1920. From that period and on, we have recognized Jewish communities in Athens, and that was a law that the advisor of creating the law was Rabbi Meir, the famous chief rabbi of Israel, that we most of us know, and we study his books. So he was the one to create the law for the Jewish communities, which is the law that we follow till today. Now, I'm pretty sure you heard from Mr. Loviger the modern parts of the Jewish community. I will add a little bit on that, but what Mr. Loviger said, it was very beautiful and emotional, and thank you for sharing that. The Jewish community is a community that has two cultures inside, and a small tiny one. So we have Romanian Jews, the Greek-speaking Jews, the Jews that mostly came from Epirus, Ioannina, Arta, etc., the Ionian Islands, and Crete, and all the Patra, of course, Chalkida. We have the Sephardic Jews that came after the Inquisition in 1492, and that's why we still have in Athens two synagogues, one Romanio, the Etz Chaim synagogue, and one Sephardic synagogue, the Beth Shalom synagogue. And as Moises Konstantinis Zichrono Livracha used to say, the Etz Chaim synagogue, this name is very new, he used to say. We used to call it I Elliniki, the Greek one. That's it, the Greek one, which is very normal, because as we can hear from the beautiful recordings of Amnon Shiloach from the Hebrew University that came here to record all the Chazanim, the rabbis, and the religious leaders of the time in 1970, most of the prayer was being held in that synagogue in Greek. The Haftarot, for example, Chaim Borboli, Zichron Livracha, used to say, what, they're Jews that they read the Haftarot in another language than Greek? That's what he asks. And of course, in the Sephardic synagogue, you had prayers in Ladino, and the melodies were different. And today we try and we struggle to keep those traditions alive. So this is a very brief presentation of our community, which is the biggest community, Jewish community in Greece today. And I will leave you in very warm hands of our General Secretary, Delia Alchanati, to give you more information. Of course, Joanna will conclude with all what you need to know.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Negrin. I'm going to introduce a little background for Delia Alchanati and also for Joanna Nahmias. So, and then they will take over. Delia Alchanati works as a volunteer with the committee of the Lauder Jewish Community School of Athens. Ms. Alchanati has a BA in economics from the American College of Greece and an MA from the University of Kent in Canterbury, England. She has worked as a broker, a marketing and sales in mutual funds, and as a private banker. She has also served as an elected member of the General Assembly of the JCA, Jewish Community of Athens, and in 2019, she became Secretary General of the board. Delia is the mother of 4 children, Marcel, Danny, Natalie, and Estelle. Following Ms. Alchanati, we will hear from Joanna Nahmias, who is a member of the board of directors of JCA. Ms. Nahmias was born in London to a British mother and a Greek of Spanish origin who had survived the Holocaust. She received her BA degree in marketing and management and worked in Germany while studying the German language. She entered her family's textile and garment business, set up a sister company in China, and created a new company as well. In addition to being an avid horse lover, I understand, Joanna has been an active member in the community's youth committee and is now an active in the Lauder Jewish Community School Committee. She is married to Albert and is the mother of 2, Philip Gilbert and Stephanie Renee. So Delia and Joanna, it's all yours.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you all for attending. Dear friends, it is a great pleasure to participate in this wonderful initiative. I will say a few words about our community, the Jewish Community of Athens. Our community consists of 3,000 members and is the largest community in Greece. Although it is small in size, it is a vibrant and dynamic community. It consists of a group of passionate volunteers and qualified professionals that work together to ensure its vitality and continuity. The board is a group of elected volunteers, and it also includes our Rabbi, Gabriel Negrin, and key professionals like Yaakov Osatun and Tali Mair. The board, led by our president, Alberto Taraboulos, focuses on each and every member of this community. Our goal is to cover the needs of all age groups of our community's members. Our priority and our philosophy are both centered around the individual. We want to inspire our members with various projects and events through the Hagim and on other occasions in order to engage them and strengthen the bonds among us. Our activities include Rosh Hashanah dinners, Pesach Seders, tree planting for Tu B'Shvat, as well as events for Sukkot and Hanukkah, where we encourage our members to actively participate in our community's initiatives. In those previous events, which were held before the pandemic, 350 to 400 members celebrated together. At Rosh Hashanah, we hosted a Rosh Hashanah Seder in a hotel in the center of Athens, as you can see in the pictures. We all enjoyed an amazing Sukkot festival under the biggest sukkah we ever made outside our synagogue. Hanukkah is the most joyful Hag of the year, where we light the candles of the big Hanukkah. We also held a Hanukkah bazaar in our school where all age groups were involved. More particularly, women from Ritso, ladies from young Ritso, parents and children from the school. We organized a tree planting of 20 trees during Tishbat in the street outside our synagogue in 2019, followed by a beautiful seder in our community center. We introduced the Shabbat in a Box program in order to revitalize Kabbalat Shabbat in our homes and the new Shabbat experience once a month where our Rabbi explains religious values and traditions in a simple way in order to urge our members to come to the synagogue and understand better the Tefillah. When the pandemic of COVID-19 started, we organized webinars with doctors and psychologists to inform and encourage our members and to help them overcome the uncertainty they were facing and feel closer together although we were apart. Also, we held entertaining and youth webinars where we invited youngsters living abroad to share their experiences from the pandemic. We immediately initiated online teaching lessons for the school students in order to keep up with the school's curriculum. Online events also took place on other occasions, such as Purim, where high school students from the Peers Project presented the Megillah to our members, who in turn exchanged Mishloach Manot and participated in an online best costume competition. Again, for Yom Ha'atzmaut and Yom HaZikaron, we had online events in cooperation with the Embassy of Israel in Greece and our religious committee. We provided technical support to our elders in order to help them follow our events on our Facebook page through laptops, tablets, and mobile apps. We have a very active social welfare committee that stands close, especially to our members in need, and supports them both emotionally and financially. We had a very successful blood drive in our synagogue, where we collected 61 units of blood. We recruited members from our youth during the pandemic that helped people in need by buying them groceries or taking them to the doctor or even bringing them the light in everyone's home by delivering door-to-door Hanukkah candles. As a Jewish community of the diaspora, we always want to strengthen and develop our bonds with Israel. For this reason, we have launched a program called E-Logger with 220 participants from Greece and abroad, Jewish and non-Jewish, that learn Hebrew. In addition to this, we also have a cooperation with the Hebrew University in Jerusalem to certify the level of Hebrew knowledge. Apart from that, we offer Greek e-learning language courses for the Jews of the diaspora who have Greek roots. Last year, we had our pilot program, and due to its great success, we continued the courses this year as well. Another program we participate is the European Jewish Debate Olympics. It is a program organized under the auspices of EFI, Education for Impact, and runs for the first time in 6 European cities for teens between 14 and 18 years old. This year, we organized a very special project that I would like to share with you. It is called Memories from the Life of the Jewish Community of Athens. Members of our community embraced this project and wrote about memories from trips, summer camps from the school, the various community centers, the museum, and personal stories. They trusted us with them, and we created a beautiful book that we will all cherish. Recently, we started to organize excursions with educational purposes and a lot of fun that we all enjoy and appreciate, especially due to these difficult times we all still live. My passion for the Jewish community of Athens goes back to my beloved father, Daniel Alchanati. My father and his friends' mission was to reconstruct the community after the war. Tireless volunteers with vision and hard work They dedicated their lives to this cause. My father was a president of the Jewish Community of Athens for 15 years, and for over 50 years, he served the community from various key positions. We are trying to pass on their legacy and make our community thrive. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joanna, and I will begin by trying to present to you the law of the school and the Athens Jewish community at large. Our school opened its gates in 1960 in what was then a deserted suburb of Athens. Today, more than 1,200 children have passed through its doors, among them my twin sister and myself, my husband, my children, as well as most of our family, friends, and their children. I can tell you with certainty that the majority of this community's members have attended the school. It is run by a school committee, a group of dedicated volunteers, all parents of the pupils, passionate to keep the school thriving, as we all believe it is the anchor of our community. Our community is a small one, yet it has always given prime importance to this school and subsidizes every child with 50% of the tuition fees. For most of us Jews living in Athens, the school plays a special and important role in our lives as it has become the center of the community life, and we firmly believe that its existence is directly linked to the future of this community. Athens is a vast metropolis, and the children are scattered all over. We have children that travel more than an hour to arrive and just as much to return home daily. It requires effort to get a 3-year-old up at the crack of dawn, often still in the dark, to travel for more than an hour on the bus to get to school and another hour to return home. But parents make this sacrifice as they are committed to sending their children to it. The school consists of a preschool, a kindergarten, and the elementary. Each has its own program specified to fit the needs of each age group. Children throughout the school are taught our religion, the Jewish way of life, our customs and traditions, as well as the history of the Jewish people and that of the state of Israel. They are taught Hebrew, English, French, music, as well as all the lessons of the Greek curriculum. After graduating at the age of 12, pupils will continue their education in Greek private or public high schools where their new friends-to-be will probably have never met another Jew. So this school plays a vital role in helping the children discover their Greek and, most importantly, their Jewish identity. Children leaving this school will have acquired 2 priceless assets: roots to know where they come from and wings to fly. They will have been taught to understand what it is to be different and to be tolerant of all others, and most importantly, to be proud of who they are. Some years ago, through fundraising within our community, we managed to build a music room, which was embraced with great enthusiasm by all parents and students. Numerous members of our community donated their pianos and other valuable instruments, and currently over 50% of our students are studying a musical instrument as an extracurriculum activity. I would also like to point out that at the beginning of the financial crisis, as a way of helping parents who were obliged to cut down on expenses, we decided to open the school on Saturdays after Shabbat and organize various activities for all age groups. The idea being to provide a family outing where the children would be occupied and the parents could have a social evening at no cost, something most of them so desperately needed. As I already mentioned, we are a small community, always have been since the end of the war. But what characterized us the most was that we were a self-sufficient one, a proud community with many wealthy self-made members. When one visits our school, one sees we have the best of everything. We have smart boards in every classroom, an IT tech room, a sports room with state-of-the-art flooring, and awnings on the windows which can be compared only to the best, all donated by members of this community. Every chair in our theatre was auctioned to the highest bidder. Yet all this suddenly changed during the financial crisis that took us by surprise, as it hit us hard and is ongoing till today. Prominent members and great supporters of this community lost their businesses, their homes. One company after the other went bankrupt. Parents were losing their jobs, Unemployment and depression became the new reality. The community's income from its real estate dropped as most of its property was vacated. In addition, the Greek government, for the first time, imposed taxes on all non-profit organizations, which is what our community is. Proud members, who were our main donors, now needed to be supported. Their children needed scholarship funding. The impact for all our members and the community at large was devastating. For the first time in the history of this community, we had to reach out for help in order to sustain ourselves. And suddenly, we no longer felt alone, as large organizations abroad, Jewish organizations from abroad, responded and came to our rescue. We became part of a wider entity. We felt the solidarity, the connection, and the support in helping us secure the future of the next generation while trying to stand on our feet again. Through the generosity of organizations like JDC, Jaffe, and the Lauder Foundation, among others, our community is being helped, but most importantly, our school is able to maintain itself. In 2015, our school was officially named the Lauder Athens Jewish Community School, ensuring the school's continuity and resulting in an increase in the number of pupils enrolling in the kindergarten. With the help and support of the foundation, all pupils finishing our school are given the possibility of attending Pierce College, one of the best high schools in Athens, where twice a week they are offered afternoon lessons of Jewish studies and the Hebrew language. If it wasn't for the help and support of these organizations, many families in this community would have been obliged to remove their children from the school, and we are too small a community to risk losing even one child. We are so grateful to all these organizations for their support and help and for treating this proud community with great dignity. Another very important part of our community life that we pride ourselves on is our welfare program designed to help and support our members in need. The recipients supported have medical issues as chronic psychosocial problems or have permanent financial difficulties. The assistance consists of recurring monthly subsidies or one-off grants for emergency situations, medical support and expenses for members lacking social security, as well as psychological support for members with mental health issues. We currently subsidize 48 members on a permanent basis. In a separate category, 250 Holocaust survivors are supported and contacted on a daily basis, and our programs are continuously evolving as we try to cover the new needs that arise. Closing, I would like to talk to you about two projects currently running we feel very strongly about. These are projects that cater to what we have identified as basic human needs and help a number of our members significantly improve their lives. The first one is called Warm House, for which JDC is helping us cover part of the costs. It is a tailor-made project, mostly for elderly, 65 plus, but not only, that will run at our Jewish Community Center. Having seen the need of our members, mainly on welfare, but also our lonely members, to meet and interact with others after the very long period of isolation enforced by the COVID pandemic, we decided to provide twice a week a warm, nutritious meal in a comfortable and homey environment. Socializing for them has become so important, particularly for the psychologically vulnerable. We also offer free doctor's consultations. Unfortunately, we have not yet managed to raise the full amount and are still fundraising. However, we went ahead as it became imperative for us to create again meaningful events. The second project now running in our community is called Rise Us Up. During the year-long COVID pandemic crisis, it became apparent that there are young members in our community who, combined with the fact that they didn't do well at school, as all had learning disabilities, and because of their family's needs, they were obliged to begin working immediately after finishing the 12-year basic education. Having entered young in the workforce and without ever having any further education other than minimum schooling, they know no languages and have no skills. All of them are striving to make ends meet, but have no means to achieve this. They have been working menial jobs such as delivery drivers, bartenders, and similar occupations. Unfortunately, most lost their jobs during the one-year-long lockdown. We managed to raise funds to support 8 underprivileged youngsters, while with the help of career advisor specialists and psychologists, we established their inclinations, talents, and managed to send them back to trade schools. With the project, we are hoping to be teaching these underprivileged youngsters how to fish for food rather than just feeding them, as the Torah teaches us. We are aiming to give them dignity in finding a way to support themselves instead of them striving to find the lowest possible jobs that give them no chance of being able to ever support a family. Evidently, if they are not helped now, their future will be difficult. Giving them a trade helps them regain their confidence and take on a more positive outlook for their future. We hope to manage to raise funds so that we can continue helping other such youngsters, making the world a better place. I can go on for hours telling you about the things we are planning and hoping to achieve in our community, a community all of us involved in love dearly, but I know I have taken up much of your time. After so many years as a volunteer on different committees and boards, I have to say I feel lucky to be part of such a lively community that, despite arising difficulties, has members who are constantly working to improve it. Ideas never stop coming to the table, all focused on how to support, educate, and help our members. Unfortunately, money is and has been, ever since the crisis, a tremendous barrier for us, both in implementing projects, but most importantly, by constantly creating new needs and increasing yearly the number of people that require financial aid to survive. Battling with the threats of assimilation, integration, and indifference, we feel strongly that our Jewish school and all our community-run programs act as the basis for this battle. Thank you very much for your attention and interest in our community and for giving me the opportunity to tell you all about us. I extend our community's warm welcome to each and every one of you to come and visit us anytime you can and see for yourself what a wonderful community we are. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Delia and Joanna. That was just wonderful. I have to say that it was very emotional for me to see this. It's obvious what the energy the community has to continue and go forward. That it's just amazing. And not only because I'm a Jewish educator, but because I'm a Greek Jew at heart. And I just, I'm so proud to see all the wonderful programs that you are doing. So thank you for bringing us up to date, because that's really important. There is one question from Sam Edery, who says, thank you very much for taking the time to present Jewish Athens Kehillah. My question relates to anti-Semitism in Greece. Can you tell us more about the actual situation?
Anti-Semitism in Greece is, we have many unique things. This is one of the unique things we have, because it's quite different from other countries. Is mostly based on stereotypes and is mostly based on religious anti-Semitism as well. So on the one-to-one basis, I think we will all agree, both Delia and Joanna, that we hear the phrase, "Oh, you are from the good Jews. You are the good one," which is strongly anti-Semitic, but this is what we face. And although we do have anti-Semitic statements and sometimes, unfortunately, acts in our cemeteries or our outside of our synagogues, etc., I think great steps are made on the progress and statements against us in acts of the not only the political leadership but also the religious leadership against anti-Semitism, and I cannot forget the acts of the clergy during the war, but also the acts of the clergy nowadays and today. But the last statement of the Metropolitan of Theotida, that says we are here because he said we are here to go against anti-Semitism, is part of our religion as Christians. And of course, the last statements of the Archbishop and the Ecumenical Patriarch, who is in Athens.
Thank you for that. Here's a wonderful comment. I'm sure you will enjoy this one. It says, where can we send contributions to the school?
That's
So
very
nice. Okay.
This is our website and our donation link, and anything would be very grateful.
Okay. Well, it certainly was very impressive to all of us to see how much the school is doing. And it sounds that you're going on a positive direction with so many new programs. Some of them cutting edge, I must say, in Jewish education. So it's just wonderful to know that I'm part of that somehow, a little bit part of that. All of us here are part of that as well. So we want to thank you very, very much. So anybody else want to add anything before we conclude? Okay, after the war, were Greek survivors able to return to Athens and reclaim their homes and property?
Most Jews in Greece came from Thessaloniki, and they all tried to reclaim their properties. There was a big effort that took place. Some managed, some didn't. And those that didn't come back, it was reclaimed by the communities. And this is where the income of the community comes. A big part of the community's income comes from such property. But there were many others that lost, they couldn't reclaim it, or their families lost their properties.
Here's one going back to the two communities, Romaniot and Sephardic Jews. We know that early on, the communities were often quite separate. How are the relations between the Sephardic Jews and Romaniot now?
Well, I don't think there is a separation today. Now, as a rabbi, I say, unfortunately, many of the Jews here in Greece, they don't, they ask me, I'm a Romaniot or I'm a Sephardi or I'm a, I forgot to say before, we have a big Italian community as well from Apulia here in Greece as well, that came to the 12th century. So today there is no conflict, but you can see in the families, in the, small talk of the families, you can find, Ladino phrases here and there, and then you can see Judo-Greco phrases here and there, so you can see the difference. And of course, when we all come together to celebrate Pesach, is the big, we're making fun of each other, the Romanians start saying, Abastavamos, stop doing that with your Ladino, and Sephardim also. So I think we are a very interesting and vital mixture today, and there are no conflicts.
That's good to hear. Once again, I also want to thank all of our partners in the JCA. You have given us so much pride in our Greek Jewish heritage by sharing about your work and your love, which is obvious, your love for what you do and your love for the Jewish community. So thank you for really making us part of your lives. So as the holiday of Hanukkah approaches very early this year, along with Thanksgiving for us here in this country, I think we are all truly grateful for all that you have taught us today. And just may our Hanukkah lights shine brightly and inspire us to hold on to our Greek Jewish heritage and continue connecting. So we thank you so, so much. This was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you to our wonderful speakers. And I'd like to thank again our partners, thank you so much, Jewish Community of Athens. It's a real honor and pleasure to be able to connect with you. And thank you, the Embassy of Greece in Washington. Thank you, Your Excellency Yossi Amrani, Ambassador of Israel to Greece, Your Excellency Alexandra Papadopoulou, Ambassador of Greece to the United States. Thank you so much, Rabbi Gabi and Dr. Andrew Lovinger. And I mentioned our speakers, but again, thank you, Delia Alchanati, and also to Joanna, Nahmias, and also like to thank our co-sponsors for today's program, Rose and Robert Capon, and thank all of you because you're Greek Family Zoom. And so there's a link in the chat to take a survey, and it's important for you to take that because you're it. You are the Greek Family Zoom, and it's a real honor and pleasure for SHIN to host this forum. Rachel mentioned Hanukkah, and Hanukkah is very much about continuation. And I didn't realize it, but this is a Hanukkah program because, and it comes at the right time because what's really at the heart of what the Jewish Community of Athens is doing, what Rabbi Gabi is doing, it's really about continuation. And so our prayer for you and for our Jewish communities that, we're focusing on you today, is that you get all the oil that you need and all the sustenance so that the Jewish Community of Athens can continue doing what you do and to keep and to have that continuation, which is so important, which is why there's Greek Family Zoom, because it's important to all of you and it's important to us. And so we appreciate the opportunity to be able to work together, and let's just keep connecting so that we can make sure that everyone is taken care of and we can all continue in the best way possible. Well, thank you so much.
Hey. Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach, thank you very much.
Thank you. This was really,
Thank you. Hanukkah
Thank
Sameach.
Thank you.
very inspirational. Really appreciate it. Okay. All right. Well, hope to be in touch.
Amen.
We will be.
And Joseph, is he still there? Thank you so much for all the details.
Thank you. Oh, good to see
Happy
you.
Hanukkah, Races. Happy Hanukkah to everyone.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Nobody wants to leave. Nobody wants to leave. I should tell the Jewish Community of Athens that about 5 of family members of mine are in the Greek class.
Great.
Yeah, they love it. Because I didn't do my job right. I didn't teach them Greek, which I should.
That's what we're here for.
That's right.